بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على النبي الكريم وبعد. أخرج ابن أبي شيبة عن إياس بن سلمة عن أبيه قال: بعثت قريش خارج ابن كرز يطلع لهم طليعة، فرجع حامدا يحسن الثناء، فقالوا: إنك أعرابي، فقعقعوا لك السلاح، فطار فؤادك، فما دريت ما قيل لك وما قلت. ثم أرسلوا عروة بن مسعود فجاء فقال: يا محمد، ما هذا الحديث؟ تدعو إلى ذات الله، ثم جئت قومك بأوباش الناس، من تعرف ومن لا تعرف، لتقطع أرحامهم وتستحل حرمهم ودماءهم وأموالهم. فقال صلى الله عليه وسلم: إني لم آت قومي إلا لأصل أرحامهم، يبدلهم الله بدين خير من دينهم ومعاش خير من معاشهم. فرجع حامدا يحسن الثناء. قال سلمة: فاشتد البلاء على من كان في يد المشركين من المسلمين، فدعا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عمر فقال: يا عمر، هل أنت مبلغ عني إخوانكم من أسارى المسلمين؟ قال: لا يا رسول الله، والله ما لي بمكة من عشيرة غيري أكثر عشيرة مني. فدعا عثمان فأرسله إليهم، فخرج عثمان على راحلته حتى جاء عسكر المشركين، فبعثوا به وأساءوا له القول، ثم أجاره أبان بن سعيد بن العاص ابن عمه، وحمله على السرج وردفه. فلما قدم قال: يا ابن عم، ما لي أراك متخشعا أسبل؟ وكان إزاره إلى نصف ساقيه. فقال له عثمان: هكذا إزرة صاحبنا. فلم يدع بمكة أحدا من أسارى المسلمين إلا بلغهم ما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. وللحديث طول. It's a long hadith, and I will summarize inshallah ta'ala. Imam Ibn Abi Shayba, he reports from the authority of Iyas ibn Salama, who reports from his father Salama. He said Quraysh, they sent Kharija ibn Kurz to spy on the Muslim camp. This is the story that's happened at the time of Hudaybiyah in the 6th Hijri. So he came and he saw the Muslim, he went back and he praised the Muslims, saying that they are good people. They said to him, what do you know? You are a Bedouin. They probably just welcomed you with their weapons and your heart flew. You don't even know what they said to you or what you said to them. Then they sent a second person to investigate. His name was Urwa ibn Mas'ud. Urwa, as soon as he came to the Muslim camp, he said, Muhammad, what is wrong with you? You call people towards Allah, and then you bring all this kind of people from different tribes, and you want to break their ties of kinship, and you want to make their blood and their wealth halal? The Prophet ﷺ said, on the contrary, I did not come here except to maintain the ties of kinship. I want Allah to give them and Allah will give them a deen that is better than the religion they have. Allah will give them life better than the life they have. Urwa ibn Mas'ud also went back to Quraysh, praising the Muslims, saying that they're okay. Salama then he says, however, the Muslims living in Mecca, they were getting tortured. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to Umar, would you like to go to Mecca and convey a message from me to your brothers who are prisoners in Mecca? Umar said, Ya Rasulullah, as you know, I have a very small tribe in Mecca. I don't have anybody. But other than me, there are so many, they have lots of tribes for protection. So I think you should send somebody else. The Prophet of Allah, then he called Uthman. He said, Uthman, I'm going to send you to Mecca. I want you to go and convey the message to all the Muslims there. Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he mounted on his camel and he went to Mecca, and then he went to the camp of the Mushrikeen, and they were very horrible to him. They mocked him and they said things bad about him. And then Aban ibn Sa'id, Uthman's cousin, he came and took him under his protection and then make him ride the same camel. And then he said, I will take you to all the leaders of the Quraysh. However, the way you are dressed is very humble. You should drop your trouser below the ankle. Basically, back in the days, they were different. The way they should dress, especially for Uthman and his family, they come from a very big tribe. They used to hang their trouser below the ankle. Uthman said, not anymore. I'm not going to do that. Why? Because that is not the way of our Prophet ﷺ dress code. And then he remained in Mecca and he invited all the Muslims and conveyed the message from Rasulullah ﷺ. Salama, he says, when we were sleeping, suddenly we heard somebody said, Al-Bay'a, Al-Bay'a, get up, stand up. Jibreel just descended to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Prophet of Allah was sleeping under a particular tree, the tree of Samura. It's like a thorn tree in the desert. And then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam stood up. We all went towards him. We pledged. We gave the bay'ah to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the following verse of the Quran. لَقَدْ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِذْ يُبَايِعُونَكَ تَحْتَ الشَّجَرَةِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with those believers when they pledge their allegiance to you, O Prophet Muhammad, under the tree. The Prophet of Allah was under that tree. And all the Sahabah, they witnessed the revelation of this verse. And then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that you are all pledging your allegiance, that you will go back to Mecca and then you will avenge the death of Uthman. False message of Uthman reached the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he doesn't have the knowledge of the unseen. He only knows whatever Allah tells him. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, later on, he said that Uthman was killed. That's what I've been told. And then everybody, they pledged their allegiance, meaning they gave their hand to the hand of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he took his left hand or his right hand and put it under his hand. He said, this is the hand on behalf of Uthman. Then somebody said a very sly dig at Uthman, saying that, wow, look at Uthman. He is over there in Makkah doing tawaf, and here we are doing bay'ah to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Uthman is such a gentleman. If he were to live in Makkah for many, 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 many years, he will never perform tawaf until I do tawaf first. The Prophet of Allah said he is such an obedient servant of Allah, and he loves Rasulullah so much, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he would not do anything without the command of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Subhanallah, we learned companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. First of all, as you could see, that the Muslims, even in Makkah, they were getting tortured. All the way to 6 Hijri. We are talking about 13 years of Makkah, and then you're adding another 6 years in Medina. Okay, so that's like 16, 18, 19 years. They were getting, the life was very difficult for the Muslims in Mecca. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he still gave them some hope. So, go and give them the message that inshallah ta'ala the day of victory and the good days are coming. Give them the hope, so that nobody lose the hope. And that's why Uthman was sent. Second thing we learn is that Sahabah radiyallahu anhu ajma'in, their previous lifestyle and the next life completely changed. Before Islam and after Islam, their dress code, their mannerism, everything changed. And even his own family said that you shouldn't dress like this. He said, I'm not changing my dress code because I like to copy Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Third, look at this testimony of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Someone said, maybe Uthman is doing tawaf. Yes, and the Prophet of Allah said, he will never do tawaf because he knows that I should be the one who's doing tawaf first. The Prophet of Allah, in the absence of Uthman, is saying that Uthman is a very obedient servant of Allah, and they only follow the instruction of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sahaba ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in. That is the reason why they become successful, because they always obeyed Allah and they always obeyed His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the tawfiq, inshallah ta'ala. Ameen. Subhanallah bihamdi, subhanakallah bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. वायरस जा रहा है कौन लोगों में वर्ष है